Beehive Sports Podcast is powered by Swing Juice. Head over to swingjuice.com. Use promo code Beehive20. Get 20% off your golf MLBPA apparel. And recently launched the pickleball line, which seems to be exploding in Warren. I don't know about anywhere else, but pretty popular. Today's show obviously is going to be a little bit different than normal. We are skipping out on history, Sketty-On, and things that sting. We're going to get into just briefly a couple local shout outs, and then we'll be talking about the Damar Hamlin situation that has, captured the attention of a lot of people, millions of people, whether it be have they watched it live or saw it later. So we'll kind of take a dive into the Damar Hamlin story, and then we will, as delicately as possible, transition to NFL talk, the playoff scenarios coming into Week 18. Then we're gonna pass right as soon as we're done with that. We're gonna get right into the three bagger. Week 18 picks. It'll be our last three picks for the year for the regular season. We'll be able to, after that, scope out our end of the season records, see how we did. Not bad. I mean, Sketty's flirting around 500. I'm a few games over. Andy with his don't bet me bets went to 4-8. So, I mean, he's making a little comeback, starting to get the gist of it. So we'll get into that. Yeah, let's go.
Welcome to the Beehive Sports Podcast. Here are your hosts, Joe and Sketty.
The Buzz is brought to you by Busch Light. Head for the mountains or wherever you purchase your adult beverages and grab yourself some ice cold Busch Light. Remember to please drink responsibly. And Napoli Pizza, yet again the winner of Best Pizza in Warren County. Weekly specials, pickup or delivery available, located in North Warren. All right, so we have decided we're going to just start with local shout-outs briefly. There's only a couple. I mean, there was more we could have added to them. I wanted to kind of keep it quick as far as that goes. One thing is more of an announcement than a shout-out. I saw on Your Daily Local sports section there, registration is now open for the 2023 Warren County Youth Baseball and Softball Association season. I don't know if, well, a lot of people have noticed that Little League's starting to make a comeback. So that's cool. I would like, to see that enrollment keep going up. It's great for the kids. It's one of my favorite memories as a child. Sketty, did you play Little League? You played Little League, right?
I did play Little League. Yep.
Yeah, everybody played Little League. So, I mean, it was, the emergence of travel ball had kind of slowed it down a tad, but it looks like it's on the upswing. I can't remember the numbers, but I know we've talked about it on here before, that enrollment was like way up this, or participation, whatever you want to call it, was way up this past summer as opposed to the ones before. So let's keep that moving in the right direction. So there's a new website to register for the Warren County Youth Baseball and Softball Association. I was going to just share the website, like say it out loud, thinking it would maybe be a nice, smooth, small, short domain. It's not. It's like 100 letters, backslashes, and blah, blah, blah. So what I will direct you to do is go to Your Daily Local, look for the article in the sports section that says registration is available. You can click, their link is in there. So you can click it there, register online, and, get your kid ready for a season of ball. So the other shout out is to our boys at Eisenhower, Benji Bauer, Caleb Penley, and Chris Bunk, all chosen to the Coaches Select Class 1A second team All-State after a tremendous season at Eisenhower. So we just wanted to, acknowledge that as we followed them pretty closely throughout the season. There was some other things, like I said, we're going to stockpile them all into a show next week. We'll just have to, and that's the same thing we're doing with the things that sting. There was a good handful of stories that we could have put in there this week. However, given the magnitude of the Damar Hamlin situation, I didn't think it would really be appropriate to call some stories the worst stories in sports when this is, what we all watched the other night. So we're going to get into that right now. So Sketty, you want to start, or how do you want to, everybody knows the situation.
Yeah.
There's nothing really groundbreaking for us to tell you that you don't already know. The one thing that did come up today is that family has announced, a family friend and his uncle. So two different sources. I actually watched them both on NFL Network this morning. Said that he showed signs of progress overnight. The ventilator was at 100% usage. Now it's down to 50%, which is awesome. So they were able to tube them, and things are looking like a little bit of an upswing, which is great news.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've never seen anything like that in sports. I think I was texting with you, a couple of guys, and just said, I just don't even know what to say because we've never seen anything like this. I think I knew immediately. Again, never saw a big hit or anything. So when he went down, it was kind of like I assumed, whatever, maybe rolled ankle, something goofy. Then you kind of see him fall back, and you're thinking concussion. Obviously, I think at least that's where my head went to. Don't know where he got hit, but maybe he got his bell rung a little bit. I think when they came back from the first or second commercial break, and you see Josh Allen, who is hands over face crying. Stephon Diggs is crying. I said, wait a minute, this is not just a concussion. Something major is going on here because I've never seen players reacting like this. And then, obviously everything transpired as it did. They come out later, whatever commercial break, and say, they're doing CPR. I mean, it was a surreal situation. I still don't have all the words for what it was, but, never seen anything like it, and hope I don't ever see anything like it again. I mean, it's just absolutely nuts.
It's definitely shook the football world, for sure. I actually read an article this morning. Well, I'll get to that. Let's just talk a little bit about Damar, what we've learned about him, all the stuff that's come out since this has taken place. I want to reference back to when the Bills drafted him. And now, if I remember correctly, I'm trying to think, but I don't know if it was you or Kylie on the show when the Bills drafted him and Mo said he was the best player that Pitt had. Do you remember that?
I do not remember
that. Kylie. That was, but I remember talking about that on the show, that when Damar Hamlin was drafted, Mo was like, who's a big Pitt fan, said, he's the best player Pitt had. Like, he has a lot of potential. And due to the injury of Micah Hyde earlier in the season, he got his shot. He started 14 games. But the bigger story with him is kind of what's been happening off the field, like as he began his pro career. So he stayed at Pitt because he wanted to be close to family. And it sounded like he had options, several options. So from McKees Rocks, which is, if you know anything about the Pittsburgh area, not the greatest neighborhoods. So, for him to stick to his guns, getting this, these goals in mind of reaching the NFL, playing college football, reaching the NFL. Mike Tomlin spoke a lot about that in his press conference yesterday, how he's known Hamlin since he was 12 years old. And that, it's just an amazing journey that he's been on, getting to where he's at. So what went viral as soon as, the injury occurred was his charity, the Chasing M's Foundation, which was actually set up through a GoFundMe because, he's just starting out. So he didn't have the media guy who's running a website for him or doing any of that kind of, he just started a basic GoFundMe. And an interesting part of the GoFundMe that I had a discussion with Dave Sherman about, and it was something that caught my attention. But Dave kind of hammered the point home when he texted me, I think it was yesterday. Did you see what the initial goal was for Damar Hamlin on his fundraiser?
Yeah, it was $2,500.
$2,500.
So see, I think was this foundation? Did I read that correctly? He created this. I think it was like 2020 or something.
Correct. Yeah, it was
like
when
a while
it
ago.
was it was
Yeah,
right
so it
as
was
he was
way.
getting ready to head into the
Yeah,
NFL. Pitt's season just ended. He was
yeah,
declaring for the draft. He went 6th round, but it was known that he was, he knew he was going. He just didn't know where and when. But anyways, $2,500. The part about that stuck out to me, and Dave Sherman, texted me and talked to me about it a little bit. He knows the Pittsburgh area very well. That goal seems like nothing, right? Compared to what it is now, obviously. And the amount of money he needed to make a difference for these children in that area, and that's not a lot of money. So it just kind of shows that, like, where he came from and that kind of thing. And then now it's up over what, $6 million?
last I heard it was 4 million. So yeah, but I have no idea.
4? Oh,
It's constantly.
It's over that. I'll pull it up.
Yeah, that was last I
I'll
heard.
pull it
But
up real
I
quick.
worked
But
I went to bed early, worked all morning today, so I haven't seen.
yeah, it's high. I'm gonna try and find it real quick. And we shared the link, to try and get the word out there. Of course, it's at 6.3 million right now.
Yeah. I think I said something to you after this happened. The way, Bills fans always step up for everyone, and actually Andy Dalton's charity after they put the Bills in the playoffs there, I kind of figured that you're going to see a large portion of Cincinnati fans donating to this, as well as the Bills Mafia.
And actually, I saw a post today where Robert Kraft, Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Matt Stafford, all these people put big chunks into that, kitty to get it up. And like I said, the goal says right here, $6,332,170 raised of the $2,500 goal. 207,000 donors.
Yeah, that's wild.
And not to, and this is by no means to pat our own backs, but we contributed a small amount in the name of the podcast, and we did that, because I'm putting the link out there. I'm not gonna ask you guys to do something that we're not gonna do, right? So, and obviously for the cause, it's it's a good cause. So, but yeah, there's a lot, coming out with this, a lot to discuss. I don't know where you kind of want to begin, but like I said, the main thing is right now is that he's showing progress, and that's great news. Because it was a scary situation. You could see, and me and you have talked in depth about a lot of the things that we likely won't bring up, here. But as far as the trauma goes, and just seeing the reaction, like you said, of all the guys crying, Burrow and Allen embracing each other, McDermott down on his knees on the field, the whole team, getting together for a prayer, and it was a wild scene, and it was something, like you said, that we've never seen. And in the research, like I said, there's actually NBC News interviewed, and I didn't put her name in my notes, but the widow of Chuck Hughes. So in 1971, Lions wide receiver took a hit that jarred a blood clot, and he died on the field. It was, but response wise, obviously over 50 years ago, a little bit different, right? Like the ability for the story to go immediately viral, the national television piece, there's a lot to it. One thing that I did want to note, if you didn't see it, I'll see if I think I have it right here. Project Humanize. So I shared that post. Did you see the post I put up, the one I shared from Project Humanize?
I don't recall.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it or not. But anyways, Project Humanize is it's formerly used to be called Humanize the Badge. They said something that I'm just going to read it, because if you didn't see it on the page, then I'll read it to you. But I just think it was so well put, and it kind of gave credit to where credit should be given, especially to the players who were there and witnessed it. So I'm just going to read it real quick. Like pretty much everyone in the country, I watched the Bills game last night. I want to give a shout out to the first responders at the scene who administered CPR and AED so quickly, giving Damar Hamlin the fighting chance that he needed to overcome this incredible obstacle. Cardiac arrest is no joke, and truly every single second counts when facing this battle. More than that, I want to acknowledge the entire team who surrounded their teammate and shielded him from the crowd and cameras while experiencing immense grief and fear. I saw that and I respect it. And finally, to the entire country who didn't know what to do but knew they wanted to help somehow and managed to raise over, at this time, $4 million for Damar's charity, which is for children in need. We will be praying for a full recovery. You got this, Damar. So Project Humanize it's Humanize the Badge was the former name of it. They changed it, but it's a law enforcement driven page where their goal is bridging the gap between community and law enforcement. That's the basic idea of the page, which is really cool. I've been following that for a long time, but kudos, to the Bills players who did form those walls around him because, there's really nothing that could be done to stop 60, 70,000 people who are there watching, you know what I mean? And same with, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, as a side note to that, I told Riley, because she actually stayed up and watched it with me after that happened. She, she's involved then. I'm actually surprised, and I haven't been looking, granted, because I have no desire to see that, but I've been utterly shocked that you haven't seen some sort of viral video of the CPR being performed. Somebody's pulling their phone out. So
yeah,
I'm not saying that stuff isn't out there.
Yeah.
But it seems like everybody kind of realized the seriousness of the situation, and you're not seeing a ton of viral videos anyway. And they are out there; they're not being shared. Which
I mean, not only that,
great.
But another video you aren't seeing a lot of is the hit.
Yeah, yep.
And him, fainting afterwards. So I mean, it's sad that it came to this for the internet to kind of grow up, but
right.
To put it for lack of a better phrase, I guess, but. I think it's just everybody there knew. I mean, if you look, you can find a lot of tweets from people who were there and them giving their firsthand account of the crowd behavior and everything. And they all said the same thing. They're like, you could hear a pin drop. Nobody was talking. Yeah. There's 70,000 people in there, and you could hear, just the silence was deafening. So, I think that put a lot of things into perspective, not just for the players, obviously the players. I mean, you've seen the response from them as far as, league wide. But I think it put a lot into perspective from fans too, that these guys are, human. They can, die just as easy as anybody else can, or they can, fall to cardiac arrest just like anybody else can. I think a lot of people think it's just so unlikely because they're in peak physical shape for the most part, that they're just, that it couldn't happen, but it can. And we saw it. And yes, that was like one of my points that I was making with you this morning is the reason a lot of people are giving this attention. Cause I have seen, sadly, there are people who are like, who cares? It's a football player. He gets paid millions. Who cares? Or whatever kind of ignorant shit they want to say. But this doesn't happen. That's why it's getting so much attention, because we've been watching football our entire lives and we've never seen CPR get administered on a field before, or an AED come out. I would assume they had to rip his shoulder pads off of him to connect the AED, and we've never seen that before. That's just hasn't happened in our time.
Not in the NFL. I mean, you think back. I mean, I can't remember. I think they said there was a hockey player and a soccer player, both that this had kind of happened to. Same deal. If you think back to, I'm not going to be able to spit it out. Loyola Marymount. Am I saying that right? I don't know why I can't spit it out. Hank Gathers. I'm talking about Hank Gathers. Yeah, talking about Hank Gathers. Which that was, I don't even know when that was, late 80s, early 90s.
Was it hockey or basketball?
That was basketball. I was Hank Gathers. Okay. I think he had collapsed once and then came back a couple weeks later and, just trotting back and just falls over and dies right there, which I think was a big, reason they started putting these AEDs at sporting events and stuff, because that would have saved his life. But, again, like you said, this is not something that happens often. I mean, that was probably, again, 30-ish years ago. The last that I can think of. Again, I don't know when these hockey and soccer players were, but it's just not something you see. And it's nuts. It's a nuts thing that can happen. I can't imagine. I can't imagine having to watch that as a fan or as a player, sitting there seeing that go on in the field. I just don't know where your mind was at. I know what my mind was at sitting on my couch at home, not seeing any of the graphicness of that situation.
Right.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine being there and having to see that, and then that there was any thought that that game was going to go on is beyond me.
Right. And that's where you and I have somewhat disagreed in the whole
Yep.
thing here is the handling of it by the NFL. So go ahead and just get into that briefly, like what your thoughts are
Okay,
and what you
well,
saw. And
before I go into this, I do want to say everyone got this right. The game was not played. They called the game off as it should have been. Um, Unprecedented situation. So I get that the reaction probably wasn't as quick as some of us would like to see. Um, to me, it was mind blowing to hear these announcers come on and say, "Hey, they're going to have 5 minutes to warm up, and then we're going to restart the game." Now, they got that from someplace. I don't know where they got it from. They wouldn't just say that on air. I mean, as you can see, they were being very cautious with everything they said on air. I think CPR had already been being performed for a long time before they mentioned that on air. So I don't know if that's a standard thing. If the game stopped for a while, if they just assumed that it was going to be a 5 minute stoppage, or after a long stoppage, it's a 5 minute warm up period and you go back. But wherever they got it, it doesn't matter. You could tell from the looks on these players' faces, they weren't going back out there to play. To me, from what I saw, it sure looked like to me they were preparing to go back and play. At least the refs, some of the players were, but it looked like from what they showed, Josh Allen's ass was on the bench. He was not getting off the bench. He was not going to play. He was not throwing. He was not doing anything that looked like in any way, shape, or condition he was thinking this game was continuing. You see McDermott call the ref over, talks to the ref for a little bit. Again, I don't know if this is a coach thing or if what he was saying, but he had the presence of mind to cover his mouth so we couldn't read his lips, what he's telling this ref. They call Zach Taylor over. At that point, they say, okay, the game is suspended indefinitely. Where in my eyes, this is where I think the NFL messed up. I understand they probably didn't know what to do at that point, but you could have got to somebody on that field that said, okay, as soon as we get Hamlin carted out of here, we're sending everybody to the locker room and we're going to figure out what the hell to do from here. Give everybody a minute, because that's, even if you were going to start that game, you still need a minute to compose yourself, which I don't think was ever an option. I don't think they should have ever started it. But if you were thinking in your head, okay, we're still playing this, you need to compose yourselves. The teams need to be talked to. Where, I think right then and there, honestly, when McDermott and Taylor talked on the field, I think the game was over right then and there. I think he told Taylor, or however they worded it amongst themselves, they decided we're not playing this football game. When the NFL is finally, you saw the video in the tunnel where they're talking on the cell phone. They're talking to McDermott. He hands the phone to Taylor. I guess it was the girl who's in charge of Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I just
the refs,
assumed she was
everybody,
some sort of liaison of some.
I believe.
Yeah.
I believe that's correct. But anyway, when they're talking about that and they say, okay, finally, all right, this game's over. Stephon Diggs came out in a towel like immediately after that. They said, and shaking. Kudos again to the Bengals players for coming over and kind of just giving, what do you want, a little support to these guys before they leave. But, when they went to that locker room, the players were already undressing. There was no suspended indefinitely. The players were not coming out to play. And I think where we have kind of had our little disagreement, or whatever you want to say it, version of things, in my eyes, I'm not going to insinuate, because we don't know. I'm not insinuating that the NFL wanted them to play the game. But I do know that the NFL had no choice in this matter. Those players were not going back on the field. I think that was a choice that was made between the players, the coaches. This game wasn't going to be played, even if the NFL said, hey, we need to play this. I think, man, part of me thinks that's what that phone call was. Like, well, what are we going to do here? And I think, they said, well, we're not playing. You figure it out on your own fucking time. But we're done. We're out of here. We're not playing. Our guy's laying in the hospital. We don't know if he's even going to make it. We're not going out and trying to play football. And they shouldn't have been expected to. I can't imagine being at that game and expecting, they're going to come back out and play again. Like to me, it was a no-brainer. As soon as that happened, it should have been just immediately done. It just seemed like there was a lot of lag time in the process or the decision, I guess.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, I'll respond to this briefly. And like you said, so not to divert the attention from where it should be.
Yeah.
But you aren't alone on that thought. There's several people on the internet who are spending time trying to find something wrong with what took place handling wise and that. And I can't help but see the irony in that because they're doing exactly what they're saying the NFL didn't do. They're saying they didn't care about DeMar, but they're spending the time rather than, caring about DeMar's well-being. They're simultaneously dismissing the NFL's attention. They're diverting their own attention to what went wrong rather than, hey, let's hope this kid, makes it. So I think that's kind of funny. It's kind of funny to me because they're like, the NFL didn't care, but you're wasting time bitching about what the NFL and none of these people were there. The big thing, the big telling story for me is, like you said, one, this was a holy fuck situation for everybody who was there and everybody who wasn't there, including the NFL. The NFL administrators, they weren't at the game. Goodell wasn't at the game. We would have known. That would have came out already. He would have been there. We would have known it. He wasn't there. Whoever was on the phone, whether that was Goodell or his, right-hand man, the next in line, whoever it was, I don't know. But to me, when we saw Steph Diggs grab everybody, get them on the sidelines and start rallying them up, the reason we saw that, and I know your thought was he was telling them we ain't fucking playing this game. That wasn't my thought. And I shared this thought with what Coward said. I loved his kind of perception on this thing. We all wish it could have been determined faster, but for all we know, it was 20 minutes prior to. If you watched the live show, those guys were packing up the Bills sidelines well before it was officially announced to everybody. That doesn't mean that they were quitting and saying, fuck this, we aren't playing no matter what. I think it's just the order of operations. They said, hey, first off, where's he at? Did his mom get into the bus with him, which she did? And then, okay, he's on his way to where he needs to be. The NFL has emergency protocols for situations. I don't want to say to this magnitude because it's something we've never seen before. I mean, you always plan for the worst, right? But they have the ambulance on site and the exit plan. Where's he going? We know every event, every stadium has their plan. So, hey, this happens. Load him up. He goes, in Cincinnati's case, it's, you okay?
Yeah, I muted myself while I did that.
Oh, you did? That was smooth. I didn't even notice that. Anyways, but I was waiting for it. Like the loudness.
No, trying to get it.
Anyways, in this case, it was University of Cincinnati Hospital. So they had that plan in place to get him there. But my belief is that they called down there because, first of all, legally, they can't end that game on their own. They can't do it. And anybody who knows anything about the union situation knows that, because then you're talking, and I mean, this is mincemeat compared to the big picture of the situation, but I'm just talking where their brains went during this time was likely Steph Diggs, his brain defaulted to, as soon as DeMar's gone, we're playing. That's the way this game goes. We continue on. There's never been a game canceled like that. We've never seen it in our lives, right?
Correct. We haven't.
Right. We've never seen that. So every one of those players thought, how am I going to get through this? But I know I'm going to have to. Steph Diggs took it upon himself as a captain of the team to rally him and say, hey, listen, we got to find a way. We have to find a way. Thankfully, it didn't come to that. But that's where I believe their brains went, was we know we're going to have to continue on after this. Let's see how it goes. And then as far as the NFL, they call down because they're not there and they don't know exactly what's taking place. They know exactly what we know. They knew exactly what we knew at that time, but they were, able to call in and speak to these people. And I think that's when the break took place, when they said, hey, head to the locker rooms. we got to call, whoever, like I said, whether it's Goodell or one of his branch of whatever, his cabinet, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, whatever. So that's the phone call. What are you guys thinking? Where are you at with this? We don't believe we can play. Okay, we're not playing then. But Troy Vincent had to sign off on that. Troy Vincent had to also say, yeah, they ain't fucking playing because they can't. They can't physically or emotionally get over what they just witnessed, and they can't play this game. But because of contracts, because of CBA, that conversation did likely have to happen that night, that in that moment, unfortunately. But because, I mean, this goes back to like COVID. It goes back to everything. Canceling games cancels game checks. It's more. I understand the big picture. Like I said, I'm totally with you that it should have been faster, right? We all think that, but they had to cross every T and dot every I and talk to the people who were there. Not just we're sitting in New York watching this. It looks bad. We're going to cancel the game. They needed to hear it from those guys, and Taylor and McDermott have collected the respect of, I think, everybody in the world because of the way they handled it and the way they spoke to their teams and the way that they said, this game's done, that we can't go on. DeMar is number one right now, and that's where it's at.
See, that's where I'm going to disagree with just a couple things you said there. And one of them, I guess, isn't so much a disagreement, but like you talked about the Bills players, or not players, the staff carting their equipment and stuff off the sidelines. That didn't start until after the Taylor McDermott meeting in the hallway.
Right.
So that's when, which again, and everyone, the NFL didn't announce it immediately. Like if you're mad about that, like to me, that was when the decision was actually made, and then they still had to do their statement. So that was the delay there. The
Correct.
Coaches, they knew at that point. NFL said it was off. NFL just hadn't released their statement.
Right, but everybody's bitch is like, it's 55 minutes. It took them 55 minutes to make that decision.
Well, I mean, and again, to me, the thing is, you said, well, they have to make. There's no way. The players were not going back. I think the players at that point in time would have collectively said, all right, fuck you, take our game checks then, and then figure out the PR mess that's going to be your hand. I don't think
it was never going to come to that. The NFL was leaving it in their hands. They said, what do you want to do?
But I don't believe what I don't believe is where you say, oh, they were just watching. They knew what we knew. That's bullshit. There's no way that no one Roger Goodell, when that happens, guaranteed somebody is on the phone with him like, holy shit, we got a guy down here.
Yeah, they're doing CPR right this now. Is what's happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like,
that needs to play out. They aren't going to pull the coach while one of his guys is down. They had to wait until he was stable enough to transport, get him off the field, let the players collect themselves, talk to their coaches, and then have that conversation. He's not just going to. I mean, I look at it like if I'm performing CPR, I get called a 911 call, and I'm performing CPR, and it's at a pepper mill, and you come over to me and start asking me questions about what's going on. I'm going to tell you to shut the fuck up, and I'll get with you in a minute. It just can't happen right now.
I guess this is what I'm trying to get at, though, is that period of whatever it was, 5 to 10 minutes when they were still on the field after the ambulance leaves. That should have Roger Goodell at that point in time, when he knows this guy's taking CPR, he's going to say, all right, let him be out there with their guy until they get him out of there, and then immediately send these teams to the locker room, and we're going to figure this out. That's where I think the disconnect for me is it seems like a no-brainer to me. Say, hey, let's at least go to the locker room. We'll figure it out. It's almost like a weather delay.
Right. How many minutes?
Like, hey, go out. We'll figure out.
How many minutes was it post ambulance leaving to players off the field?
Now I don't know. I don't have the number in front
of me. But it had to
long. It was long enough that McDermott had a full ass conversation with the refs, and then Taylor came over, and they both had a conversation with the refs.
They chose to collect as a team and pray as soon as the ambulance got off the field.
But what I'm saying is, there was footage of McDermott over there, because that's what this was after the Diggs pump up thing,
talking with the refs.
Josh Allen's on the bench, like he is not warming up. He's not going back out there. McDermott calls the ref over.
They were on defense, but.
Well, but I mean, yeah, fair point. Didn't think about that, but like, You just see the look on his face. He's not playing football today.
No,
me.
I agree with that, but I think
what
that
I'm saying is
the conversation had to be had with the coaches and
I
the
agree,
NFLPA, because the NFL didn't
I-
make this decision alone. And if you read the NFL statement, that's what I said everybody's missing, except for the analysts who aren't going down this rabbit hole, is that the NFL and the NFLPA agreed to stop this game. Did they have a choice? We'll never know the answer to that. I believe you're probably right in that they were not going to go back out there.
Yeah, there was no matter, regardless of what the NFL said, there was no, that's what I'm saying. There was no decision to be made. That decision was made by the player.
But the NFL and the NFLPA can't be called bad for calling the coaches and saying, what do you guys think?
No.
You know,
Don't misunderstand.
Do you want to go on? Do you not want to go on?
I said beforehand, kudos to the NFL because they got this right. There was no fight about it. They did it. My only thing is bad optics. I don't know what, and I haven't heard anyone talk about this. So I'd love to hear what their reasoning was. I think Booger McFarland kind of alluded to the fact that he thought the NFL was waiting because they want to have how the NFL works. They want their contingency plans in place, which to me, again,
which we don't even know if they have that yet. And I think the fact that they haven't even, like, if they would have said you'll resume tomorrow or you'll resume Thursday, if they would have said that, then I'd be far more inclined to believe that they were pushing for them to continue that game Monday night. But I don't think they are. They said, yeah, you're done, and you're not even playing this week. You go to week 18. We'll figure this part out.
Right. And again, I'm not damning the NFL. It's an unprecedented situation. It just seems to me like somebody there should have had the common sense to say, let's go to the locker rooms. Let's figure it out. So there is no speculation like this. We're not having this conversation if they do that.
And I think that I don't know. I think that did happen. It just, there was moving pieces in between all of that.
Yeah,
players weren't
not a simple.
Players were all over the field. I mean, both teams were intermixed. There was, guys over here, guys over there. It takes a minute to collect all of that, and in a time of what we could even call crisis for all of them. You saw the reactions. The viewing trauma is not easy for people. And
no.
That's something that me and you discussed before also, that you could tell, that there was some guys there who kind of looked like I like to call like an oak, tall and strong.
Yep.
Just, that's a kind of a police phrase we use, be an oak. And because that's what is expected of us. And there were some guys who weren't like that. And it's neither's wrong. Neither's right. Neither's wrong. But yeah, I don't, the whole thing, I just, and we can even travel this a little bit. The Skip Bayless tweet.
I think bad timing, but what do you?
Bad timing. I have both his tweets in our notes. Do you want me to read both of them?
Yeah, why don't you? Because I mean, again, maybe not the second one so much. I guess you can go with what
the second one I think is important to the first one, but we'll start with the first one.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
No, he says, no doubt the NFL, and this was pretty early on, I think it was like just after 10.
This was after CPR. It was after CPR was announced, before the game was canceled.
He said, no doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game, but how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant, which is the part that I think everybody stopped before they got to. And because of the lashing he took, he sent out a second tweet where he said, nothing is more important than that young man's health. That was the point of my last tweet. I'm sorry if that was misunderstood, but his health is all that matters. Again, everything else is irrelevant. I prayed for him and will continue to, which he says, which is suddenly seems so irrelevant. The outcome of that game did not matter at that point when it was happening. And he says that, but he asked a question maybe too soon that everybody has been asking for the last 2 days now. Right? Everybody wants to know, what are they going to do with this game? And DeMar's showing signs of progress. The more that happens, the more this question is going to get asked. So I'll give him okay, Skip, too soon. But there is a million fucking reasons you can find to hate Skip Bayless. Yep, that tweet should not be one of them.
Yeah,
that is a complete overreaction from a lot of people, because he literally points out Go ahead.
Yeah, when I got it in the moment, I think I sent it to you. I'm like, can you believe he's saying this right now? Like, even though like in my head I'm thinking he's right,
Yeah.
but can you believe he's saying it?
Yeah,
Which, and again, he didn't try to word it insensitively. It just kind of came across that way because of what was going on the field.
I think a lot of people didn't get to the last line of that because he literally says the regular season, the magnitude of the game, all seems irrelevant right now. None of that matters. We got to make sure that this kid pulls through. That's and I hate Skip Bayless. It pains me to even stick up for the fucking guy, but I just think he wasn't off in asking what he asked. I think maybe it was just too soon.
Asked it. Yeah, he shouldn't have asked it. His mind. I think that's what people got upset about. Is that's not where your mind should be. Your mind shouldn't be what are they going to do. That's for okay. He's out. He's okay. Now we ask the question. Well, what the fuck are you going to do? Because what are they going to do? That's the big question right now. This is a huge game, playoff implication wise.
Yeah,
this is absolutely enormous game.
The only thing I saw on this earlier today was was Ian Rappaport, who said that the possibility of them calling it a no contest is where it's at. So I don't know if that means just X the game completely, or if they call it a tie, or if they just those guys played 16 games.
See, that's 17. What I didn't do the math
and then
on
it would
that
just
to
be
see how that works out.
seeding would just be based off win percentage at that point.
Yeah, see that's where you're starting to get real funny in this. And again, we covered enough of this? We can kind of start talking about the playoff situation here and just start.
Yeah, we can start with that. And just like we said, everybody just keep hope alive for this young man. It's horrible, horrible, horrible situation.
Yep.
I did not create a banner, but I'll do one right now. You go ahead and get talking on some playoff scenarios.
Well, so again, with this in particular to this game, I was looking, Cincinnati hasn't even won the division yet. Correct. If they get beat by Buffalo, the next week's game is for the division, I believe. Because I think, they play Baltimore. Buffalo wins that game and they're basically the one seed's not locked up, but all they have to do is beat the Pats. Like now they're in a situation where you have to hope the Chiefs lose and you beat the Pats to get the one seed. Cincinnati. Right. Cincinnati could have been anywhere from the 1, 2, 3, all the way to the 5 seed, So again, it doesn't seem important.
Putting everything aside, like this is not meant to be any type of insensitive conversation to anybody who's listening or whatever. We're not saying that, but there has to be something in the Cincinnati locker room right now where they're like, shit, we're going to have to
getting hosed kind of hard.
Right.
They're like, Buffalo could still at least be the 2 seed. Cincinnati could not win the division now, depending on how they work this thing out. I mean, it's
who they play. The Ravens.
Yeah, they play the Ravens.
Oh, so that's
the Ravens are
10-6.
Yeah. So again, if the Bengals would have lost, they'd be 11-5. The Ravens beat them. I'm assuming. Even beating them, they would have a chance to win the division because the Bengals are not locked. They are, they're locked to the playoffs, but they are not locked for the division. Which again, I think with a win, they're the division's over, it's wrapped up, and Cincinnati's actually 2 seed knocking on the door to the 1.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, it's going to come down to win percentage because if they lose to the Ravens, they're 11-5.
Yep.
And Baltimore moves to 11-6, so Bengals win percentage would be higher.
Yeah, which that to me seems like. So then, do you call the game a tie? Like, is that the best way to do it?
Even then,
because I mean that's.
Then the win percentage would be higher. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing they just haven't done anything because they don't know what they're doing yet. There's been no official word, but
yeah, that'd be interesting to be sitting in on that conversation.
And I mean, so now that Bengals game again, it affects Baltimore, it affects Cincinnati, Buffalo, Kansas City. That it's just there's a lot going on with that game not being played that kind of changes things for everyone. It's just
Do you think it's possible that they move everything back a week and just don't have a week break between Super Bowl and championship week?
I think we discussed this. There's no way they're moving the Super Bowl. I mean, I think we can both agree on that.
Well, they wouldn't have to, right?
No, they could get rid
eliminate
of the Pro Bowl
that week.
Yeah, but so then the question is, do you give everyone is going to get a bye week then? But the Bills and I guess technically they didn't play last week, so when they play part of the quarter, you're going to give everybody a bye week to get ready for.
Gonna have to. And here's another question that Tim brought up. This is a good question. If they resume that game, can somebody who was a game time decision but didn't go be activated, or do they have to start with the exact roster that they went into the game with?
I would think if you were inactive for that game, you're inactive. You're inactive for the remainder.
You're starting it just as it was.
I think you would have to. I would think you would have to.
Yeah, you know what I mean. That's what I think too.
Now granted you get the benefit if. I'm trying to think of a good example. Poyer's not going to get any better than what he is.
Yeah, just a player who's playing through injury.
He's got another week to get.
But that's not an advantage to one team or the other. It'd be for both.
Everybody's getting the same. You just can't. I don't think you could go if you were inactive for that game. You have to be inactive for the makeup. And again, I think you have to start it where that game left off. I don't think you just restart the whole thing.
That's what I think too. You have to keep everything as was. It's just a different day and time.
But you're looking at a situation now. So let's just say Buffalo's a 2, Kansas City's a 3, or Cincinnati's a 3. Let's say it works out to that. These teams don't get to play each other. There's a very real possibility that now Cincinnati has to travel to Buffalo, try to beat them in Buffalo in the playoffs when they had them at their house with a chance to pass them in seeding. It's a really, really messy situation. And this is one almost assuredly, no matter what the NFL does, it's going to piss someone off, but they got to just do what they think is best at this point. There is I don't think there's any kind of good answer to this.
No, I don't either. So other scenarios, we'll get into those real quick because we're actually pushing an hour almost already. So Jags Titans. Jaguars can tie that game and still win it. So they're a winner tie, and they got the South locked
up. They win it, and they can actually lose and still get in though. This is not necessarily an elimination game for the Jags. Elimination game for the Titans. I don't think the Titans can get in, Titans lose, they're done.
Yeah.
Jags are still alive even with the loss. They just need a lot of help.
Yeah, Jaguars. Well, if they lose to the Titans, they need the Dolphins, Patriots, and Steelers to all lose.
Yes, yep. They need everything the Steelers do. Just the Steelers got to lose. Yep.
Patriots 8-8 can clinch with a win against the Bills.
Here's one that I kind of think. I know you said that even a distracted team can't beat Mac Jones or can't lose to Mac Jones.
I do believe that.
And honestly, in a 3-bagger, I don't. There was no line for the Bills or the Patriots or the Bengals and Ravens. Yeah, depending on what that line was, I would consider the Pats because I don't know how Buffalo prepares for this game. This guy is still laying in the hospital.
Here's what I heard this morning in listening to GR. I had the morning show on for a little bit. What they believe is transpiring at in Orchard Park right now. The Bills spent the last 2 days, today and yesterday, with the counseling piece. If you want, everybody came in. They did have position meetings from what I saw, but I don't think the positions were the topic, really.
Exactly.
But from what I understand, what they think is happening is that the Bills are treating the preparation for New England as if it was they just got done playing a Sunday game and they play Thursday night.
Okay, so you think they're just going to move it back to so you're thinking that tomorrow. The prep is going to start tomorrow.
Yeah. I think tomorrow is the day that they, start game plan, all that. Because according to GR, and this was on NFL Network this morning, because they have a correspondent outside of the stadium now, have since Monday night. They said that the coaches did do their game plan meeting. How it went, what the topics were, we don't know. But those meetings did take place.
I'm more saying, though, not that the meetings aren't going to happen. I'm saying from a focus, like, are you locked in on these guys? Or because I think it would be unhuman or inhuman, whatever the proper phrase of this is, to think that their football or their focus is going to be 100% on football.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
there's something back there that they're worried about.
Another thing.
That's what I'd be more worried about.
Another thing that GR and NFL Network both commented on is the fact that what they could be doing, honestly, is it just kind of taking their game plan from what they did last week with Cincinnati and tweaking it slightly to fit the bill against New England. Not so that the work is minimized and they can spend time on the DeMar situation more than, I don't know what's going to happen in that game. I mean, I really don't. Like you said, there's obviously two possibilities. Sometimes teams rally around a tragic situation. Sometimes they just aren't there mentally, and it'll be kind of noticeable when you're watching the game. But it's hard telling. It's really, really hard telling how this is going to go, and
especially with him in critical care still.
Right.
I think it's a different situation if they know he's kind of out of the woods in a way.
Positive news that keeps coming out, every bit of that I think we receive, a little bit more of that focus can start going towards next week's game. So I think today was clutch with his uncle talking, and that Jordan Rooney, who's the marketing manager for DeMar Hamlin. I just, I think it's great that did come out. And if you just listen to some of the stories too, like the uncle also said that they haven't had to spend any money on food since they've been there. People of Cincinnati have just been dropping off food left and right for the family. And I can't even say enough for the amount of respect that I have for that franchise. The way the Bengals handled it, the way the Bengals fans in the crowd handled it.
Yeah, everyone's super professional.
It was amazing. It was amazing
very nice,
the way that all went. So yeah, Patriots, they can clinch with a win, which we said, isn't necessarily out of the out of the question. And then Dolphins loss, Jets and Steelers loss, and Browns versus Browns, Jaguars win versus Titans. So they got their easiest way, obviously, is to beat Buffalo. Otherwise, they need a lot of things to happen. Dolphins clinch with a win at Jets and a Patriots loss. Steelers clinch with a win versus the Browns and a Dolphins loss.
And a
Jets and Patriots loss. Wait, Dolphins loss versus Jets and Patriots loss at. Yeah, geez. I'm struggling to read my own notes here. We already talked about the Jags. Here's the question I posed to you that I can't find an answer to it. I did some searching for this. The Eagles. Are they going to be the first team ever to be the first team during a season to clinch a playoff berth and then end up not winning their division?
I mean, the Giants have nothing to play for. So I would be pretty surprised if the Giants beat them.
Yeah.
However, it's still within the realm of possibility. Yeah, I mean, Dallas win and an Eagles loss.
It's a bad situation for the Eagles to be in, though.
Yeah, I mean, they're lucky. They are absolutely lucky that the Giants are locked up into a playoff spot, because if the Giants were still playing for something, this team's lost 2 straight. I can see a situation where the Cowboys win, and then the Giants win, and you're looking at the Vikings or the Niners as the 1 seed. It's just
seeding is still all over the place for both conferences. I mean,
Yeah,
the Cowboys could end up with the one. Well, they won't
the
though,
Cowboys
because
would have.
they need the Niners to lose, right?
They need the Niners to lose. They would need the. Well, no, they beat the Vikings, right?
Yeah, Cowboys crushed
Yeah,
the
they
Vikings.
beat the Vikings. Yeah, so the Cowboys just need. They would need the Eagles to lose, and they need the Niners to lose.
Unlikely.
Very, I would say, extremely unlikely
Yeah, me too. Because
that both
there's
drop. Like again,
no way David Blau beats our boy Brock Purdy.
if David Blau beats Brock Purdy, especially because I don't think DeAndre Hopkins is going to play. He was out this week, if I remember right.
Yep.
So he's questionable. Like, why would they? Like, I'm just assuming Arizona's just going to shut him down for the year. Like, you're not playing for anything. Like, I'm thinking that, yeah, like I would be. The only way that the Cardinals have a chance to beat them is if the Vikings lose at 1:00. The Niners could potentially say, you know what, we're good with the 2 seed and bench guys. And even then, I don't know if the Cardinals are beating the
Right.
Niners backups.
Yeah.
So
And then,
yeah,
yeah. What else we got? And then C7, the 7 seed wild card is just a fucking mess in the NFC too. Packers
yeah.
have a shot.
Well, there's really only 3 teams I think with a shot.
We're right.
Right.
Lions, Packers, Seahawks.
Seahawks need to win. I think Seahawks need to win and the Packers need to lose.
For the Lions.
Correct? Yeah.
Lions
Because
need to beat the Packers. Seahawks need to lose or tie versus the Rams.
Exactly. Yeah, because the Seahawks would beat the Lions, and then the Packers just have to win, no matter what happens. If the Packers win,
they're in.
Yeah, which is just mind blowing to me. I got on here and I pronounced them dead. They were probably 4-8 when this happened, and like you literally need everything to go your. Not only do you have to win out, you need a bunch of shit to go to your way,
and it's all happening.
And just like the fucking Steelers, yep, of course, we're gonna start winning games and everything's gonna go our way, and it's just like the odds are ridiculous.
I like the Packers in the playoffs more than I like the Steelers in the playoffs. So.
I would be
as a team who might win a game.
I don't want to be the 2 seed if the Packers are going to be the 7 seed. Like the Lions scare me a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. The Seahawks are just, I don't think they're very good, so I'm not really worried about them. Yeah. But like if Aaron Rodgers gets in, now granted the Niners own Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, but just from a pure perspective of things, like I would much rather be the 3 seed and be playing the Giants if you're telling me Aaron Rodgers is getting it. Like I don't want that smoke. I don't want somebody who can take a game over, even though he hasn't really done it a whole lot this year. But yeah, it's just absolutely nuts to me that's a possible thing that could happen.
My biggest hope for the NFL weekend is that Jarrett, our boy Jarrett Stidham,
can take down the Chiefs.
Dude, it'd be awesome. It'd be so awesome.
I'm telling you, if he plays like he did last week, which he didn't play super phenomenal, but Waller and Adams are good enough that if he could be even okay, Josh Jacobs, you're looking at the Kansas City team. Maybe they should call the Broncos and be like, "Can you give us your game plan, please?"
Yeah, no
because
kidding.
You played them tough twice.
They played them tough
can we get some
and
help?
I'm telling you that freaking offensive pass interference call on Courtland Sutton. Is that his name? Courtland
Sutton. Yeah, Courtland Sutton. Yep.
It was game changing. I mean, they were up 17-13, 3rd and 8. Russ launches one into double coverage. Classic Russ in 2022. Sutton comes down with it, and there was one of the guys was kind of trailing him. The other guy, they were like hand fighting. Arm did not fully extend. It was like a last second bat at his hand where they'd been doing the whole run down the field, and he out jumps both of them, comes down with it, and then they throw that flag. And it was like, when they called that, I about fell out of my chair. I'm like, how do you call that? And literally they punt, Chiefs score. Russ is all pissed off, throws a pick, Chiefs score, and it's just over from there. Like it was just they would have been 1st and 10 inside the 25 probably after that play, maybe inside the 30, and just looking decent looking. Russ was, 2 games he played well all year. 2 games, and it was both against Kansas City. They've been flirting with losses for the past 5 weeks.
Yep.
Just hand them one.
Yeah, they don't
Raiders,
good at all.
do me a favor. You've never done anything that I've appreciated. I don't think ever. Even the logo has his eyes shut. One covered with a patch and his other eyes shut because he can't stand watching you. Just beat the Chiefs.
Yeah,
the Chiefs.
At this point, anything is possible. But I hate Week 18 because why, if you're the Raiders, why are you marching Devontae Adams out there this week? Like, he just shouldn't play.
Right.
Like, why risk having him tear an ACL
like
and then
on the universe though? Because then if it happens, my dreams will be crushed.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I just don't get. That's why I hate Week 18 or Week 17, last week of the season, because some teams are playing for stuff, other teams, or whether they're in or out, have nothing to play for. So yeah, right. Why are you starting your studs? Like, again, you get big injury this late in the year. You're talking half of next year. You don't have a guy.
The only counter to that is some of these teams who don't have anything to play for, like individually they do.
Exactly. Yeah, incentives.
Some of those guys are playing for a roster spot next year, and it's just all right. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. Do you want to wrap it up, and we'll take our commercials, and then we'll come back with our 3-bagger picks real quick, and then call it a day?
Sounds good to me.
All right. The Buzz is brought to you by Busch Light. Head for the mountains or wherever you purchase your adult beverages. Grab yourself some ice cold Busch Light. Remember to please drink responsibly. And Napoli Pizza, yet again the winner of best pizza in Warren County. Weekly specials, pickup or delivery available, located in North Warren. Going to run through all the commercials, and we'll be back with the 3-bagger.
Whenever you crack open a Busch Light, the mountain starts singing.
Busch. It's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you.
What is going on?
Hit it, Giant Kenny G.
It's so smooth.
Head for the mountains of Busch Light Beer.
Hungry? Watching the game? Order some Napoli's Pizza, voted the best pizza in the Times Observer Reader's Choice every year. Homemade, hand-tossed, delicious hot pizza, stromboli, salads, subs, and so much more. Located in North Warren, come on in or call 814-723-7455 and ask about our specials. Pickup or delivery available 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Again, that's 814-723-7455.
Hi, this is Brian Hagberg, and I wanted to take a moment and tell you about our new website, YourDailyLocal.com. Your Daily Local is your new home for news, sports, and events in Warren County and beyond. Our goal is to cover the people, places, events, and happenings that matter to you in a variety of ways, including writing, video, and audio. And the best part? All of our content is available for free. Head to YourDailyLocal.com to get the news you need when you need it.
Hey there, everyone. This is Phil with JP Photography. I know. A photography ad on a sports show? I get it. You're here for sports talk and listening to Joe and Sketty's insane rambling.
Wait, what?
But bear with me for a few. I just want to tell you that JP Photography not only offers wedding photography, but also does events, engagements, headshots, family photos, and even some product photography. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Just search for JP Photography or go directly to our website at johnphilphotography.com. That's JONPHIL photography.com.
Jones Pest Control, your hometown pest control company servicing residential and commercial properties in Warren and surrounding areas since 2015. Sean and his crew will work tirelessly to keep your home or business free of insects to rodents and everything in between. Contact Jones Pest Control at 814-230-9548 and set up an appointment today. And remember, ants, spiders, bees, or mice, don't think twice. Call Jones Pest Control, 814-230-9548.
Checkout means sales and services with 2 locations on Warren's east side. Their garage at 800 Lexington Avenue not only services cars sold by Means, but has knowledgeable staff and modern state-of-the-art equipment waiting to serve their hometown of Warren. Whatever you need, including alignments, tires, brakes, yearly or enhanced PA inspections, oil changes, and much more. Make your appointment today at 814-723-7191, extension 2.
Blue Line Auto, located at 1606 Pennsylvania Avenue East in Warren, is locally owned and operated and is a family-run business specializing in vehicle sales and service. They offer state and safety inspections and general car repairs, including but not limited to brakes and rotors, tires, oil changes, batteries, starters, and alternators. They also offer vehicle undercoating prior to winter to help keep your vehicle protected. Currently, their hours are Monday through Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Thursday and Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call them today to schedule your next appointment at 814-230-9061. Your safety is their goal.
Hi, this is Ryan Klein, the host of the new pop culture podcast, Me, Myself, and Rye. You can find me on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and several other platforms. Special guests, breakaway shows, bonus episodes, cold beers, and a whole lot more. So what are you guys and gals waiting for? Subscribe now to the Me, Myself, and Rye podcast on Spotify or wherever it is that you get your shows and start listening today.
My High, Joe and Sketty's very own world of sports.
Just want to take this time real quick to read through since we've been kind of breaking up segments a little bit differently. Just want to say thanks to Your Daily Local, yourdailylocal.com. Visit that for the news you need when you need it. Jones Pest Control. Ants, spiders, bees, or mice, don't think twice. Call Jones Pest Control at 814-230-9548. And also Blue Line Auto. For all your automotive needs, call Blue Line Auto at 814-230-9061 or stop in at 1606 Pennsylvania Avenue East in Warren. All right, so 3-bagger review. Let's see. Last week. How'd you do, Sketty? I think we both went 2-1. Yeah, we did. Jags covered for both of us. We missed the Patriots.
Was it our same game? Oh, we missed the Patriots.
By the hook, yeah. A 2-point win. So we missed that one by the hook. Which I wonder, it was 2.5 at closing too, so it wouldn't have made a difference if we hadn't. Yeah, it wouldn't have made a difference. But I got the Broncos with the plus 13.5 against the Chiefs, and you had the Chargers who blew out your friends in LA, the Rams, at minus 6.5, and the Raiders covered the plus 6.
And the Niners still won, so it's okay.
Good
Everything
times.
was all right.
New picks for the week. So that puts our records Sketty 27-24. I'm sitting at 31-18-2. Our boy Andy went 1-2 last week, back to his losing ways. He had that 3-0 week, shocked the world. He had the Browns, Niners, and Titans, went 1-2 with those picks, Browns being his winner. So here we go. Let me get the banners up here. First one, Sketty. He's got the Steelers minus 2.5.
Well, I want teams that are playing for something. The Browns aren't playing for anything other than to ruin the Steelers' season, but we all know what's going to fucking happen. The Steelers are going to get in, set the record for the 2 worst teams in NFL playoff history are the Steelers in back-to-back years. It's pretty impressive if you ask me. I don't know how they fucking find a way. I was really looking forward to Kansas City drubbing them, but I guess I'll settle with Buffalo fucking just absolutely shit slapping them in the first round. So it's just fine by me.
So going the other way.
Oh, you think the Browns?
I did. You said they got nothing to play for. This is the Browns Super Bowl right here. They can destroy the Steelers' chances of getting into the playoffs, ruin Mike Tomlin's career.
Yeah, he's never had a losing season.
Never have a losing season. Deshaun's getting his, still getting his feet under him. They're gonna let him rip this week. They got nothing, no reason not to, other than injury, like we talked about. I don't even think they think about that, just because there's so much time between now and then that they're just like whatever. Yeah. So I think the Browns are looking to go into Pittsburgh and just destroy their hopes and dreams. And
I'm rooting for your team. I'm rooting for you this week.
you hope I cover on this one? Okay. I like the Browns in this game. I think the Steelers, I think that Deshaun's getting better each week. I still hate him. He's a scumbag. I'm never going to ever say anything other than that. But I did watch the entire game last week against Washington. He's starting to make some better throws. Chubb's still Chubb. And the Steelers offense is just sputtering by. I mean, it's like
I don't know how they're winning.
Absolute torture to have to watch this team in the playoffs.
Correct. Just for the second year in a row. It's unfreaking believable.
Yeah.
But
so
to your point, Craig was texting me just absolutely. I don't know why we got Deshaun Watson. It's the worst contract in history. He was not happy. I said, holy shit, it's like the first quarter, bud. Just relax a little bit. But Browns fans not happy. They feel pain coming.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take him a while to get to where they want him to be, where they'll be satisfied. But I just can't see Pittsburgh. I think the as much as the Steelers have to play for in this game, I just think it would be. What, didn't they knock the Steelers out of the playoffs the last time they met? Right.
Yep.
And I think that
in a big game,
this former rivalry that, I mean, these fans hate each other, the teams hate each other. I mean, the teams hating each other, I think that kind of shifted for the Steelers towards Baltimore. The Steelers just owned the Browns for so long, but a little bit of a changing of the guard. The Steelers aren't as dominant as they were, and I like the Brownies in this one, getting the points.
I hope you're right.
Sketty, Cowboys, -5.5 at the Commanders.
Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys have a chance for the 1 seed here. I haven't seen. I'm assuming that Carson Wentz is starting again.
He is not.
Oh, is Heineken starting?
He is.
Well, fuck. Well, the Cowboys will still find a way. Why did you switch for a week then, you dipshit?
Dude, it was the worst.
What was he thinking?
To begin with, I text you when he benched Heineke for Wentz, and I said, this is terrible.
But I assumed at least at this point you got to stick with it. You fucked up, you're already out. You stick with it now.
Well, he didn't even know they were eliminated. Did you see that press conference?
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
I think Rivera's just fucking starting to lose it a little bit. I don't know what's going on with him.
Well, Cowboys got everything to play for. Once again, I hope I go 1-2 this week. And this is one I'm okay with losing.
All right. Titans and Jags. Josh Dobbs. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Josh Dobbs.
Yeah. Okay.
Lions, you got wait, I guess I should say, because I didn't say, I just posted the graphic. Jags -6.5. Love it. Josh Dobbs. Sketty, Lions +4.5 at the Packers.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Lions. I think I've been on this. I beat this horse dead all season long. I think there's a changing of the guard in the NFC North. I think the Lions are going to roll in there and upset them. And at the very least, they're going to cover 4.5. I think they're going to make this game close enough that the Packers got to sweat a little bit. But yeah, I just maybe this is just me hoping that the Packers don't get in. But this Lions team has fought hard the second half. I think that I think they can go in there and make a little noise.
I just realized I didn't do a graphic for your Bang Bang Niner Gang Lock of the Week. But anyways, Raiders +9.5 hosting the Chiefs. The Chiefs can't beat anybody they did cover the spread like 2 weeks ago, didn't they? Against somebody? Seattle?
Yeah.
Yeah, Seattle stinks though. And they're on the road. They don't have the luxury of playing at Arrowhead. They're, in Vegas. Jarrett Stidham is king, and they're going to cover and win. Take the money line.
I
Don't
saw
take the money line.
Adams was questionable. I think I saw it today. So I was like, this is what I looked at. And I said, yeah, just in case. They're like, yeah, we're shutting it down.
Everything's fine. The Raiders are going to win this game. Take the money line, but don't take the money line because that'd be stupid. I hope that happens. So, but I do think they cover the spread. The reason I think that is because the Chiefs are playing everybody close, not to mention division game. It's just, you know, it's just like last week. They're giving fucking 13 to Denver, 1 by 3 or so. Did not do a graphic for your Niner gang. That's going to be Cards plus 14.
Yeah,
You're doing that for the
only
one reason.
This is a serious one. So I really think that there's an outside chance if the Vikings win if the Vikings lose at 1:00, I think there's an outside chance that Shanahan says, you know what, the Giants aren't playing anyone. CMC's banged up. Fuck it. We're totally cool with being the 2 seed. We don't have to play for the 1 seed. And they just sit everyone. I think there's a very real possibility that happens. And I also think there's a real possibility that they're up 2 touchdowns or so in this game late. They're taking starters out, and maybe Arizona comes back, scores a touchdown, field goal, something to get them into coverage. I just think it's I think there's a good chance Niners are going to be resting guys.
All right, roll through Andy's real quick. I let him finish out the season. I had to. He likes the Bears plus 5.5. Keep in mind, these are Andy's. Don't bet these bets. Bears plus 5.5. Hosting the Vikings. Actually, I kind of like that one, to be honest with you.
I know that. It's not
Vikings
terrible.
Vikings kind of stink. I love this one. Browns plus 2.5. This one I'm indifferent on. I don't know. Can the Chargers can't really do anything, can they?
I don't. Let's look real quick. That's what I kind of thought.
I don't think that they have much to play for.
No, I don't think so
and it
either.
Seems like the Broncos interim coach, kind of got to keep them moving as well as you can.
I guess technically, did Baltimore? Yeah, if the Chargers lose this, Baltimore can pass them.
Oh, okay. So they do have something to play for.
They do. They do. They have to win. Yep.
Okay. So in that case, I probably do like this bet also. So.
Yeah, because the Chargers, who wants to be like, you're looking at playing Jacksonville or Tennessee if you win. Right. So. Yeah, they got something to play for.
Got anything else before we wrap her up?
Nope.
All right. Thank our sponsors, Swing Juice, Busch Light, Napoli's Your Daily Local, JP Photography, Mean Sales and Service, Jones Pest Control, Me, Myself, and Rye Podcast, Blue Line Auto, and Complete Roofing Systems. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. I know it's the midday shows. Sometimes they go well. Sometimes we don't have too many people on. But we appreciate all you. Remember, you can listen to the audio on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcasts. Just search the Beehive Sports Podcast, and shortly after the live show, our latest episode will be uploaded, and you can listen to all of them, all the way back to from the beginning when it was just lonely old me standing here with a microphone. Don't go back and listen to those ones; they're kind of embarrassing. I should take them down. Should probably get rid of those.
Never existed.
Hide the evidence. Yeah, they're rough, but it's just funny because if I misspoke, I stopped and started all over, and now it's like we're live. So if you fuck up, you just say you own it.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, is what it is. I don't care. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to give the video a like, a love, or an angry face if you think Sketty is hideous. And until next week, I hope everybody had a happy new year. I forgot to say that at the beginning. This is our first show of 2023. So hope everybody had a happy new year. We'll see you next week. Playoff fan rant.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Maybe. We'll see what the NFL does.
Oh, yeah, correct. Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But
can't even fucking plan anything right now.
Right.
Until they make a decision. We can do no planning.
Yeah, you're right. So at least I can start reaching out to the people who have clinched, teams that have clinched their reps and try and get them settled. And then me and you will have to hammer out an evening that we can do it. So,
yep.
All right, everybody. Thank you for listening. Until next time, take care.